Yo, happy Tuesday, everybody. We are starting off the week with inscription markets discussions. We started off with a bang for Doginals community getting added to OKX. Doji shot up like, I think 60%, while all the other inscription systems that were supposed to be, that are going to be added, were pretty flat. Bitcoin Ordinals had a rough start this week with its premier mint of Quantum Cats getting shut down immediately and then being postponed twice. So lots of things to discuss. But first, Adam, man, how was your weekend? Did you watch football Sunday?
All football, all Sunday. Both teams I wanted to win lost. So it's crashing like an X space, man. I mean, what is the deal? You saw they're going to do video spaces on X? God help us. It's going to be a complete shit show to have video spaces on X. It's going to be fun to watch because like this, like obviously I couldn't connect. I couldn't be a speaker. It drops me down. It's like, yet they're going to be able to handle that all with video. It's going to be interesting to watch. So I'm excited for that. If you guys missed it, that's coming up. So
yeah, I'll see if I could find that post and pin it to the top. One of the ex developers teased yesterday a post where you could toggle on video natively into X Spaces, which is pretty nice, right? Like right now, if you guys aren't aware, Adam and I are live streaming this, so we're talking through my account, and it projects to YouTube and to X Spaces. And so we have like 15 live viewers right now, and then everyone on Spaces, but it's a pain in the ass to set up. I'm going to be completely honest. You guys don't see this, but I'm literally like running around my room for 5 minutes, like taking my second phone, putting it in the bathroom, right, going around and posting everything. It's a pain in the ass. That's why you have to have a 5-minute intro. That's just me.
You literally do. People don't realize, like, if you're on stage, like, you can't fully mute your phone. So like you have to like literally either like hide it in another room, or I have this thing where I have like these headphones that have no sound on them, so I plug those in, but it's like it's so ridiculous, like what you have to do. But yeah, it's easier than it used to be. But yeah, it's totally ridiculous.
Pump my bags, Alon. And also anybody who wants to join the Doginals conversation or Ordinals or whatever it is, please come on stage. This is really, really open format. Love to hear everyone's opinions. It's there's a lot of inscription markets to cover, but there's always a few that are kind of leading the pack. Woof woof. Chris, man, how was your weekend? How are you feeling today?
Jake, good morning. Adam, good morning. I am back at my desk in Vegas, so we're having a good day today. Feels good. A ton of progress with Emblem this past week. Great show with Adam from Counterparty. That was super epic. So if you're interested in Counterparty, go check that out. We launched the BTC curated collections, pretty sleek. And then we have the Emblem Town Hall going into Thursday. So a huge week, and reached out to a ton of the Doginals community today. So should have a really good conversation with Doginals and Ordinals. Things are looking good.
Fuck yeah. Everyone, first make sure that you retweet the spaces up at the top so that everyone could come and join the conversation. I also pinned here, right, just a little bit of an overview. And then we added the BTC DGods collection. And we're making our way down Bitcoin Ordinals and then eventually Doginals. So you'll be able to take Doginals cross-chain. We have a lot of exciting announcements. Be sure that you stay tuned for that town hall on Thursday. We have a lot to unveil. We actually might have something to unveil tomorrow, barring everything goes right. One thing I've learned, dude, working with contractors and working with, people outside the team and even internally, ultimately at the end of the day, you're always just chasing down developers. It's always what it comes down to. Every single time.
Tech's hard, man. And I mean, anybody who's built a simple website, you just know once you start going down a rabbit hole, it's endless. The things that can go wrong and do go wrong. And obviously we saw that. I don't know if we want to start with the cats first, but we saw that yesterday. And yeah, it's hard. Really, really hard to do this sort of stuff.
Yeah, let's start with the cats and then we'll go to OKX, right? This was supposed to be the big mint. I actually woke up. I wake up pretty early anyways, but I woke up and I actually got my mint through. I was part of the first 1,000 that was able to mint. But ultimately what happened, I guess quite quickly from what Udi had said, there was a lot more traffic than what they expected, which I don't know. I was already expecting a fuck ton of traffic, to be honest.
Sure.
So I don't know what unexpected numbers could be. Is that like literally in the tens of thousands of people pinging the website?
I think what can happen is like some people in the comments, and this we know is true, is people will attack it, do a denial of service attack, and just to mess with them, because they're very low cost. It costs almost nothing to do those like denial of service. So it's very possible that helped take it down too. Because I mean, in theory, you shouldn't have had more than 4,000 people trying to mint it, but even that obviously can cripple a website that's not prepared. But I have a question for you. Did the cat actually came into your wallet? Like, how did that? Was it like immediate, or how did that work?
So no, the cats are being distributed after general mint. So from my understanding, there's 3,300 cats. At least that's the images that we see, but they're only allowing the mint of 3,000 of them. So I don't know what the other extra additional ones are, I guess, for the team and stuff. I went and minted it, and the transaction went through. So the transaction was submitted to the mempool. The 0.1 BTC left my wallet, and that's when they came out. And shortly afterwards, everything shut down, and that's when you saw people posting saying, "Oh, I can mint 152 cats," or "I have 4 cats that I could mint." Right, and the whole UI was just completely wonky. And I know that was causing a lot of confusion from a lot of people. And, from the benefit of working at Emblem over time, you realize that what you see on the screen is much different, is actually not what's happening. You always got to look on chain and see if that transaction's been pushed through. So when I saw that transaction push through, I was like, okay, I think I'm good. But
Did you pay extra gas, or what'd you do?
no, I paid like 40 sats per VByte or something. Nothing. It was just sitting there immediately watching it, because I had a feeling that this was going to be pretty rough. I thought they'd have it figured out, but to me, right, if you only have theoretically you have a max of 3,000 people on the whitelist or allow list at 1 mint per, right? Theoretically, you think 3,000 people, but people are on there just speculating, taking screenshots to meme and all this fun stuff. And so Udi and Eric and all of them tried to hold off everybody by having a spaces and just having conversation. And it was actually kind of interesting listening to Dan Held up there, who was a hardcore Bitcoin maxi for a while and has really come to the other side. Just hearing his perspective, and it feels like the Bitcoin maxi culture is really like on its last leg here. It feels like there's no possible way. Everyone is really turned on them.
It's like 5 guys. Yeah. They've lost their leaders, man. Adam's not with them anymore. Dan's not with them. Like, there's very, very few, and the few just aren't large enough voices to drown them out anymore. Yeah.
Jameson Lopp was on there even talking as well. And I think recently, was it Peter Rizzo? He created an extension to the op return limit to where there's now essentially no limit. And I saw Eric going around and playing with it. And if there's any developers, please come up and tell me that I'm horribly wrong, if that's possible. But I think it was Peter Rizzo.
Yeah.
Came in, and now there's essentially a theoretical no cap on the op return, which is just, again, it's just going to create a lot more functionality, and just completely decimate anything that Bitcoin maximalism had. I mean, Bitcoin as a storage layer is here. It's not going away anytime soon. And just having that as a storage layer is just going to encourage and amplify new technologies that happen on Bitcoin, right? Started with inscriptions that made it to all other ecosystems, right? Then it was BRC20, then it was the maps. What's next, right? What is it? Is it NATs? Is it this? Is it recursion, right? There's going to be a ton of things, but I don't know, man. I think Bitcoin's in the driver's seat here for a long time. But what happens with these cats? I don't know. Adam, do you think this becomes the top ordinals collection? Do you think it flips OMB as a similar size to OMB? OMB has 2,200. This will be 3,000. Obviously, they have 2,000 wizards. You have Bitcoin frogs at 10,000 supply, and you have node monkeys at 10,000 supply.
Yeah.
Do you think it flips everything?
It's like, where would are you talking like a 5-year time frame? It's very.
No, I'm talking about in the next 2 months.
Next 2 months, yeah, it absolutely is possible. Yeah, I think if they were to drop the wizards today, and even if they gave them only to select people, those would be the most valuable. It just seems like just because they have the attention, they have the eyeballs, the story behind it. Certainly they have it, but it's really interesting though, because the cats are actually like, okay, this is their second project, which, traditionally, if we look on the ETH chain, do not do well, right? Mm-hmm. These are traditionally like the ones that get wrecked. But the reality is this is the first one to hit the market for them. So, man, I just
don't know, man. I have Udi's Twitter profile pulled up here. There is nothing about the Taproot Wizards. It's just quantum cats right here. I was listening to the Spaces yesterday, and there was a bunch of people speculating that these cats will actually morph into wizards.
That would be crazy.
They created a new recursion standard. I believe it's called changing recursives ordinals or something like that. But they said that this is not the final state of it. And what's the guy's name? The developer, right? Starts with an R. It's really
Oh,
smart.
Rindal or whatever. Yeah.
Rindal, he has like a big thread about this new like recursive standard that they used for this. So,
Yeah.
and Udi has said multiple times in Eric that this is not the final state, and he said there's going to be a nice surprise when you mint as well.
Wow, that sounds like amazing hype to me. I would be stunned if they did that. That would be taking millions of dollars off their table. So I find that almost impossible to believe. But it does create an incredible like amount of FOMO. Like even my body was like, "Oh Jesus, I need to go get one." Right? So I think Udi's really good at doing that. So my money would be definitely against that actually happening, simply because they have a real business now, right? They raised funds. They raised whatever, $7 million, right? This is a huge win for that. Gives them really, I mean, just think about this. This is what is this one? Like a $13 million mint, $13 million plus the 7 they have. They got a $20 million war chest. I mean, we were joking about it. Are these guys going to be the Yuga of Bitcoin? And they're certainly setting themselves up to do that, and, get ready because they're gonna have to. They're gonna take a lot of heat. Udi's got a thick skin, but if they're the Yuga of Bitcoin, bro, there are high, very, very high expectations for these guys.
Dude, 0.1 Bitcoin times 3,000, right? So that gives you, was that 3,000 or 300 Bitcoin? So about $12 million at today's value. And only continue to grow. I was actually having this conversation. I forgot who I was talking about this with. Minting 0.1 Bitcoin is a lot, right? It definitely got a lot of pushback. I mean, you look at some of the other projects that were similar. OMB minted 2,000 at 0.09. Then they minted their first 200 at 0.2 Bitcoin. DGods did 535 at 0.33 Bitcoin, right?
Yeah,
I think
crazy.
you minted OCM Genesis. I was like, wasn't that around 0.1 too?
It was like, I want to say it was like a little over $2,000, whatever that was. Yeah. I mean, I was like, wow, this is crazy. But, I did it just because I was like, oh, I want to support Danny, and that team, because Danny's such a good dude and I know how important he is. But even I was like, 2,000, this is crazy. Right. But at least in the short term, I mean, a lot of people have been talking about Moonbirds, and how Moonbirds had this like crazy
$62 million.
Yeah. And look, I mean, you look historically, other than the ones that were like complete rugs, like Kevin or something like that, like these, they almost universally pumped. They had a pump after them. So I mean, a lot of people, myself included, I was like, shoot, if I got a whitelist, I'd probably do it anyway, because you feel like you're gonna get at least a 2x to be able to get out or something. You'd be able to make some money on this. I think that's the general consensus right now, is that you're going to be able to make money on this for sure.
I also partook in the OMB mint, and I sold at like a 4x from the mint price. And I thought it was going to drop below mint price. So it was at 0.09 during that initial first week or so. It got up to like 0.4 Bitcoin. So it was like almost 4 to 5x. And the lowest I think the floor got down to was like 0.15 or 0.14. So it was still almost 50% over the mint price.
Yep.
My senses or my curiosity, I can't tell if they have a plunge protection team on this or some quote unquote market makers, right?
Plunge protection team. That's the first time I've heard that. That's awesome. I mean, it was always my theory, and we've talked about this a lot, is that certain projects mint a whole bunch of their supply, right? Mm-hmm. To artificially increase the price. I have zero question that happens. But that's the first time I've heard plunge protection. That's
the plunge protection team. Yeah, that actually comes from 2021, when Duquan was protecting the peg, and they'd have FTX and Jump Capital and Three Arrows Capital be the plunge protection team, because we knew once Luna dropped before or below a certain price, it was all over, and
yep,
he spent billions trying to protect that, and it just still imploded. A little bit of a different
buy
scenario.
all of your cats right now for $3.
Fuck off.
Fuck off. Yeah, exactly.
Chris, you've been in the space for a while. We've been OG Bitcoiners for a while, and you're very intelligent when it comes to trading and collecting. What's your take on Quantum Cats? Do you think this will be the premier collection on ordinals?
Yeah, I mean, you can't fade these guys. They know everyone in the Bitcoin ecosystem from the earliest days. I didn't notice that the Den Held was on the team too. So I mean, just between like the three of them, they can sell out the collection on their own.
Oh wow, I didn't know Dan's on there. Dan's part of.
I don't know if he's officially, but he's literally
It
on
said that he was like,
space.
yeah, maybe part-time. He said he was like fractionally on the team, at least in one of the articles.
Oh wow.
So I mean, these are some of the most OG guys in the Bitcoin space, some of the most present guys for the longest period of time. They're definitely gonna have some market makers on there. It's not like it's a huge allocation of a collection, so I think that these are gonna go the distance. And plus, it's just a nice piece of Bitcoin history, pretty much. So I wouldn't fade these guys at all.
Yeah. My thought is, right, at 0.01 and $12 million, I think the real unlock is I'm hoping it's something like the Node Monkeys mint, where that really caught me by surprise. Even though they sold at 0.03, like the amount of new liquidity that came into the ecosystem was quite surprising. I was really, really taken back by that. And most of that liquidity came from ETH NFT traders, right? The ETH NFT cabal came in, and all the punk traders and the ape minters, right? And the art collectors, they all came in and threw tens of millions of dollars at this. So it would be really eye-opening if we see new liquidity there. And so what would be new liquidity? It would be OG Bitcoin holders coming in who have never bought an ordinals, coming in and throwing, right? Because there's OG Bitcoiners sitting on hundreds and thousands of Bitcoin. Like that is 0.1 Bitcoin is nothing for them. It's literally a drop in the bucket. And if you have Dan and Udi and Eric, right, who've been here literally building on Bitcoin since, or at least trying to build on Bitcoin since 2013, they know everyone, right? And that's what I'm hoping to see is just, of course, you want price to go up, but new liquidity entering the market, because it does feel like ordinals are a little bit in a lull right now.
Sure. Yep.
So we'll see what happens there. But, on the other side of exciting news, right, that was a little bit disappointing, was OKX came out and just basically just swinging their dick and putting on the table and said they're building an inscriptions marketplace for all inscriptions. But they came out and led with the first thing they're adding is stamps at the beginning of February. And then at the end of February, they're adding Doginals support, Runes Alpha, which that's still, I guess, to be determined because Rune still hasn't been built. And there was one other one that they were adding as well. I need to pull it up here. But it reinforces, man. Doginals, like I said, pumped 50%. The other two that they mentioned that they were adding were quite flat. Although I know Doginals has been down quite bad over the last month or so.
It's interesting. I've heard a lot of Doginal chatter on the timeline, and both two sides. One side is it's a cabal of people who are trying to push this to basically trick you out of your very valuable Dogecoin. And there's obviously the other side, which is like, look, this is like a new technology on top of Dogecoin, and we should be supporting it, right? And obviously that side has huge bags that they minted for, near zero, right? And along the other side is this kind of narrative that there's a huge amount of wash trading happening on Doginals, right?
There is, yeah.
Which gets us into this OKX, because OKX, a lot of people have been saying there's a tremendous amount of wash trading on OKX as well. So I'm interested your thoughts on it, or maybe even Chris's thoughts on it, about like the wash trading and how we as like normies who don't have time to like dig in should like either pump the brakes on it, or what do you think, Chris, about like the way we should kind of look at this and the wash trading that's happening?
Yeah, I think that the wash trading, it's something that's been around since the beginning of crypto. It's always existed.
Yep.
Just kind of part of the market. There's a ton of excitement around Doginals, and we've hosted them a few times, and the community always seems pretty authentic. They're really, really excited. You can kind of tell the passion that they have, and Doge itself is one of the oldest communities in crypto as well. So I think that you can kind of tell when a grassroots movement is really happening, rather than just being overwhelmed by wash trading specifically. So I think, in my opinion, there's some real traction there. I think that it's a real authentic community. There's obviously some wash trading going on, but that's to be expected. That's everywhere in the industry. So I like what they're doing, and I think that their memes are hilarious. The fuck it we bark guys, those guys are all time. You got the DMBs, just a bunch of real quality, kind of good-hearted fun over there. So I'm a fan of what they're doing.
It's so here on the block, I think they were the first to actually report it outside of OKX. OKX to enable Doginals, atomicals, stamps, runes, and runes inscription standards. OKX comes out and they said, we're thrilled to enable new inscription token standards across OKX wallet in our marketplace. And their CIO says they're going all in on inscriptions. So it's funny. I had on my podcast the guy from EVM Inc. and we were talking about just multi-chain inscription markets. And this was back in April of last year. And finally seeing this come to front and center is quite wild. Although we did know, and we've been discussing this literally since the beginning of Bitcoin Ordinals, is that this is just a new type of market that's popping up, a new type of token market. And they'll run probably in parallel to the existing ones. So it says OKX wallet will integrate SRC20 at the beginning of February, and then late February, OKX will integrate ARC20, which is atomicals, DRC20 Doginals, and runes. Although runes again is not out until April, so that has to be some sort of derivative runes, I guess. That's another conversation we'll probably get to here shortly. The last market discussion we had last week, we were talking about how OKX added facet swap into their wallet, which is essentially the it's a DEX for ETH inscriptions, or I guess you call them ERC20s. And we thought that was kind of eye-opening of them really being the first to add, DeFi applications for inscription markets into their wallet. And it says, like BRC20 on Bitcoin, newer token standards are being given their own names. Others include PRC20, which is on Polygon, ETH inscriptions, and Solana inscriptions. Adam, what's your take here, man? OKX, as you said, right, a little centralized. They've definitely been caught, wash trading. They've had to actually fix their market data multiple times as well. I think Domo called them out once, and a few people did. Are the inscriptions market? Can it overtake anything? Can it overtake, I guess the cumulative market cap of some of these other fungible token ecosystems on other chains? Like, for example, here we have, even outside of this one, right? So on Stacks, you have Stacks, token standards, and now you have STX20, right? On inscriptions, you have ERC20 and their token standards. Do you think that these can be competitive markets to where the inscription coin ecosystems can compete with the other fungible token ecosystems that exist on their chains?
I think if it's, in a way, runes is like the smart play, because if it's cheaper, faster, easier, right, then yes, but not really if it's not. If it's a real pain in the ass, then my gut says no. I actually think for OKX, I think what they're doing is kind of smart, because I don't know, maybe some people in the audience have an OKX wallet or whatever, but I don't know many people who have their wallet. I think this is a pretty smart marketing play for them, which is they're going hard into these like secondary communities, hoping that those communities become their marketing arm for them, which I think is really smart. And I've seen a ton of people with stamps and SRC20s talking about this, right? And so, does it motivate me to get a wallet? Not necessarily, because I'm not really trading them, but if I was trading them, and I got to get the OKX wallet, right? This is the way it's going to go. And I think, especially with, we've talked about it a lot with Doginals and stuff, if those pop, OKX has set itself up to be the leader in that. And that's really smart business for me. It's a worthwhile bet for them to make, to try and make an impact, because there's no way they can, regain the SRC20, market share, or BRC20 market share. That's gone, right? So, going for these alternatives and trying to be like the leader makes sense.
I made this meme yesterday. It's a Grim Reaper meme, taking down the different marketplaces. Obviously you had Doggy Market and Doge Labs, the first to scene, and Ordify, and then you had Gate came in and added Doginal support, OKX. Next is Magic Eden, who's been teasing it, right? And I guess the final boss would be Binance, right? That's kind of the massive exit liquidity event. Although when Ordi and Sats were listed on Binance, it was not exit liquidity at all. It continually went up a lot higher, much higher there.
I mean, I wonder. It's this thing. It's like it's still all just crypto native people though trading this. It's not like it just has. I know because I would have heard about it already. This has not pierced the normie culture yet at all, right? This is still just very much crypto people doing crypto things, just trading the same money back and forth on new things. But it's not like, your taxi driver hasn't bought a Doji yet. You know what I'm saying? So we're still early in that cycle. If it works and it does reach into that normie culture, like it hasn't even started yet, right?
Yeah, my speculation here, and then I want to cover some other things, Doginals as well. I think you have probably 6 months to maybe 9 months to trade Doginal ecosystem before Dogecoin actually pumps, right? Because Dogecoin is completely retail, and the only way to buy Doge if you're retail is to buy it through a broker. Well, they were buying it through Robinhood, so it's been delisted off Robinhood. My speculation here is you're going to be able to buy Doge through X payments. I mean, I'm seeing even today, Nevada, which is where I live, so shout out to Nevada, X just got a money transmitter license in Nevada. I think now they have like 12 to 13 different money transmitter licenses from different states. And they also just formed a partnership with MGM Bets. So you can now, the theory is you're going to be able to place bets through X, right? But he also wants you to be able to buy stocks. And Alon said this out loud multiple times. Eventually, right, they're probably going to add Doge as well. And so you'll just be able to buy Doge directly through X. And you'll probably see Twitter or X activity and users grow, right? Because if you could just go create an X account and trade that way, what's the point of going and creating a Fidelity account to go buy Doge, right? Or to go create a Coinbase account. And I think that's when retail really comes in and starts buying up Dogecoin. And that's when the real bull markets like officially started. And at that point, I think
it's a compelling story, bro. I got to say, man, again, FOMO again. It's a good story, dude.
Everyone knows. I mean, Chris and I, we've been pretty active in the space since 2016. Everyone knows before it was once Dogecoin hits 20 sats, right? When you pair Doge up against Bitcoin, whenever that hit that 20 sats mark, that's when Doge took off, and that's when alt season started. With the rise of Doge, I don't know if we're gonna go back to 20 sats, man. That's still like a minus, I think 80% from where it is today. I think it's around 200 sats. So wherever that new inflection point is to where Doge then runs up, however far it really is, Bitcoin might have to take off a little bit harder for that to happen. It's just pure retail. I mean, you can't buy Dogecoin. There's no DeFi on Doge is happening, right? But the average retail person's buying Doge with USD, whereas maybe the more sophisticated person will participate in some of these DEXs that are starting to pop up here. I went through and I was kind of excited. I've been following this one protocol called Woofy Swap, which was claiming to be, a DEX in some sort. So I've been kind of following it. They built a DEX, supposedly. I'm sure it's probably centralized on the other side. But, this is kind of how I learned BRC20, was dabbling with all these like DeFi stuff that had been popping up. And I managed to provide LP to this Woofy / Doge LP pool, which is kind of cool. It reminded me actually a lot of Omnisat, which I've been building as well. But the UI is still quite bad, to be honest. But the attempt is great. And so there's 3 options. There's Doge, and then you have Doji and Woofy, which are the 2 DRC20s. You could provide LP in Woofy Doge or Doji Woofy, and you could swap back and forth, Woofy for Doge or etc., which is exciting, right? Because that's actually on-chain transactions. You're buying Doge on-chain. You're buying it through or not through a centralized marketplace, which, to my understanding, really has not existed before. So I went through the process, and I don't know if people have been trading on this, but I've been LP'd now a few days and I haven't had any returns. Actually, the APR has been sitting.
Oh, really? You haven't got like a 10 million % return? Nothing like that?
No. Nothing. Yeah. So right. There's probably a little bit of smoke and mirrors to this, but it's definitely in the right direction to it. And this was my thread, and I'll pin it up there at the top. I said, will this be successful? I don't know, to be determined, but is it progress? Yes, it's progress towards DeFi and Doge. And then should I ape? And I always put this, man, please DYOR. Always start with a low amount, right? I started with $50 on each side to really just kind of learn about it. And they've been coming out with a few more like promising things. With Woofy Swap, they actually came out and said, oh, now they actually have first decks of DRC20 in their bio, which, as we know, never claimed to be the first. Losing battle every single time. One thing that caught my eye with their ecosystem, this is why I've been following it along. They basically came in and they said they've been putting a lot of thought into the ecosystem. And they basically, I don't know if they invested or this is another team, but they're backing a wallet called WIWW. At least that's a ticker. And they basically said that Doginal Labs wallet's horrible. Right? They put it in a little bit lighter terms. That's essentially what they said. So competing wallets will be nice, right? This is actually one of the cruxes of the Litecoin ordinal space is the wallet infrastructure is just dog shit. It's just horrible. It doesn't work. So you can't get anything done. Right. And so here, this is a step in the right direction. As we know in stamps as well, like they didn't have a web wallet extension for a long time. And that's so key. No one wants to use a desktop wallet. You can't trade with a desktop wallet.
Yep.
So following this wallet, and they said they're building a launchpad and stuff. So it's something exciting to follow. And outside of that, some other DeFi on Doge applications. Ethan, who dropped DIPE, which is pipe on Doge. Kind of funny, right? He launched this on December 18th. And as we were following him, I was messaging him to get his API so we can add trading for Emblem. He was like, yeah, I'll have the indexer ready in a few days. So it took him almost 6 weeks later from that conversation to put out an indexer. So you can actually transfer DIPE now around, which was kind of the issue to begin with. And he just teased out that a marketplace is coming soon. So this will be, an on-chain marketplace for Pipe. And if you don't know what Pipe is Track's take on runes. So you're essentially, this is like a runes, derivative or extension or right type. And also there's whoever runs the Dogecoin Rocks account. It said they're doing runes, right? So I guess you're gonna have two different runes protocols on this. And the person who's behind the Dogecoin Rocks, I hear, is like an OG Bitcoiner. So might have some ties there, an OG developer. But this is exciting. It's all pointing in the right direction. To me, this is much further ahead than the stamps community is, and it's getting into the competition with the ETH-scriptions, right? I mean, Tom and Michael at the ETH-scription team have just been absolutely crushing it. And they're just getting a lot of integrations. Obviously, they're using a smart contract platform, or they're on Ethereum, which has a lot more functionality. But I don't know, man. Bullish as fuck on Doge. I think it'll finally take off. Definitely need some infrastructure plays.
Well, definitely don't sell your bags too early this time, bro. You need that changing money this time. Don't sell out when it triples or doubles or whatever. So I just looked. It's at Doji's at like almost $2 right now, which I think it was at like $1.60 maybe last week, something like that. So it's gone up pretty substantially in the last week or so.
Well, it's once you get the degens of the East coming in and aping through OKX or Lost Trading or whatever it is, right? That'll completely amplify.
That's my concern. It's like, am I exit liquidity right now? If I buy right now, am I just exit liquidity? It feels like it. It feels like McBride's the dumb money coming in late. That's the way I feel. Oh, people give me the thumbs down. They're like, no, McBride's smart to go in now. Now's the great time. I'd love to have some, I see who is it? Is it Swizz down there saying, no, man, ape now. Tell me about it, man. Tell me why I should ape now.
Yeah. Is there anyone on stage? Raise your hand. Yeah. After Swizz, and
go ahead,
let's get some opinions.
Man, I don't know, man. I just think it's too early, dude, with the whole market cap being like 70 million, and then Doji is like 45 million of that, dude. I just think that it's way too cheap. I think that you should be accumulating. I think it's gonna be life changing, dude. Straight up.
Life changing, Adam. You're missing life changing returns here.
I think the life changing was minting it for free. That's the life changing, man.
What you think?
I can't speak on the DRC20 Doji, but I could definitely speak on these Doginal dogs. Whitelist was democratized. Everyone got an opportunity to get one. Yes, it was a free mint. Yes, the price continues to go up. We are in price discovery. Since mint day, I think lowest we hit was maybe 1,800 Doge, and we've been nothing but up all the way up. Yes, there are market makers, but there are true community members as well. I don't know if you notice in the audience, but there's plenty of dogs in here. We pull up, we represent. So
Wait, when you guys pull up, do you do like oh, or any sort of like? Is there any spaces sound you guys got?
So what?
Nope.
Give me your take then, right? Market makers, wash trading, kind of. There's definitely a pretty heavy gray area between them. That's the biggest.
But it's only a gray area. It's only a gray area when other people aren't doing it, right? But when they're doing it, it's fine. So as Chris said earlier, a lot of collections do it. It's been going on since the dawn of time in crypto, and it's a necessary thing to have a market maker to help keep your floor price up, right? So, tokens do it, NFTs do it, inscriptions do it. So we're over here participating in the ecosystem with true community, with organic growth. So,
hey, yeah, it's everybody's take. I remember when I got into Forex in 2016 and learned the market maker method, and I was like, wait, I'm such a small fraction, and 99% of the volume in the Forex market is literally just banks trying to liquidate everyone. Like, what is going on here? I have to say, the Doginal wash trading, the fact that it's just so upfront and abrasive about it is really turned me away from it. But it is what it is, right? There's no escape from the wash trading at this point. The only thing you could do really is like censor it at a marketplace level until DeFi really takes off. But the fact that there's low transaction fees is just something that encourages the behavior. I think this happens on Solana. This happens on all the like the low fee kind of blockchains. It's just that barrier is down, and it's really tough to get rid of, right? The only thing you could do is either censor it at the marketplace level, or you have analytical tools, build things like wash trade filters
Or
and
marketplace fees. None of these markets
marketplace
have.
fees.
Yeah,
I think they
yeah,
do.
but you called it market making, right? With 4X. So how come 4X gets the market make, but Doginal dogs can't?
Yeah, it's a term of I guess it's perspective in that sense. To me, the fact that it's just so obvious, the fact that it just moves in complete even numbers, and it's the immediate from free mint to 2000 with no trading in between. That was just like the easiest way to identify it's not organic. Which, if the community is aware and people are aware of it, then I have no issue with it. As long as people are aware and everyone is an adult, they can make their own decisions. And so I'm not making the decision for everyone. We're just here to have the conversation. And it sounds like the community is aware, and everyone also, from my understanding, even the people outside of the Doginal Dogs community is aware. And hey, everyone's adult. They make their own decisions.
There have been plenty of us that have had opportunities to actually trade up as well. So there is definitely other people in the community that have been making moves, that have been buying rares, that have been selling them, have been buying more dogs. So there's actually official trading going on too. If you know how to trade and you have the bag to do it, you can definitely trade within this project. And you're going to pump. We're going... no, not financial advice, but
not financial advice, but this life-changing money
divided by 3, 50K Doges inbound, and if you're gonna miss out, it's okay though.
Math checks out.
I like the I do like the dog little PFPs. Those are pretty sweet. And like, just to that point on traditional finance, bro, it's totally true. I mean, at least this is transparent. You can see it happening. When you see it happen in the silver market, it's all like smoke and mirrors. Nobody knows what's actually happening. This is actually like everybody can see it. As long as you go in with open eyes, I see, it is what it is, as long as you know what you're doing, Totally
That's the benefit of crypto, right? So the
100%.
reason why a lot of us are here is the transparency behind it. And it allows you to make more informed decisions, which is the beautiful component. And then we get to have spaces and sit here and talk about it. So go ahead, Swizz, and then we'll go to B right after.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, like these Doginal dogs has run up, and if you're working on a budget, man, honestly, sub 100K is a no brainer, dude. I keep saying that. It's a no brainer. They're all like really, really cheap still, and then you got builders like 8-Bit up here that has his collections and stuff. So, yo, there's a lot of good shit that's still cheap, yo. If you're priced out of the Doginal dogs and stuff. So yeah, man.
Cool. B, I think you had your hand up.
Hi, yes. Hey, yes, I would agree with Swizz and with what you mentioned before about the price, just because it's like, I guess, cheap. I mean, if it could be cheap, or as it goes up, the people that can afford the cheaper ones won't be able to afford the higher prices. But that's with everything. It's not just because this is cheap, you know. It's like if I was an ETH, but ETH is just not that I can't afford it. I can, but like I don't want to risk with what I got with, let's say, 1 ETH. So it's kind of, I could play with more money here, and it's not. I didn't. And when you put it with, I didn't even know I was in a wash trade until right now you said something. I didn't even know I was a part of something. I'm a part of this because it's my choice, and I feel like it's more than what people are seeing this. And I come from ETH. I have a world of women and so I kind of like, I understand where you're coming from, but it's kind of more than what people think this is. I just think that DRC20 community, the whole DRC20, the whole Doginal, it's so much that we can do with. And what I'm learning so much from 8-Bit, you have no idea. I have no idea what Swiss mentioned right now with the provenance, like sub 100, sub 10K and 100s. Like you can play with so much, and it's so early. So I mean, it's not just like that we're saying that we're better, because I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, you just see with your own eyes, like it is clearly what it is.
It goes to Jake's theory, actually, which is like bringing in the normies. You know, most normies cannot be attracted with a $3,000, $4,000 NFT, but they can with a $50 NFT or a $40 or a $30 or a $20 NFT, right? So this is, I mean, it's got that vibe. And you guys, every time we talk about dojis and doginals, I get FOMO every single time, because it just makes so much sense. If inscriptions really hit the normie culture in any significant way, it just feels like the doginal experience is going to be where they're going to land. That just feels right.
Yep. We're going to go to 8-Bit. I'm excited to hear from you, because you actually pop up on my timeline a lot about multiple Doginal projects. And then we'll go to Chris, Bark, and then Early.
I appreciate you, Jake. You know, it's a big honor and privilege for me to be on this stage with you, man. You know, when I was coming up on Bitcoin Ordinals, I looked up to you as somebody that I wanted to actually be like one day when I got going. And bro, I'm doing it right now on my own way, right? So, you know, I'm honored to be here, but I feel like we're so early. Look at what B was just saying. She learned so much in the past month by just being onboarded to Doginal Dogs and then Doginals, period. Bro, last year when I got to Ordinals, I went to every single space and nobody would give me any of the answers, bro. I struggled to even learn how to inscribe. So here on Doginals, it's a little different. People are educating one another. The communities are just vibrant. They're thriving. It's almost like the early days of Solana, my brother. And I'm just so happy and proud to be a part of it. And, shout out to Bark, man. Bark literally got so many people on board in the past month. We are so early, guys. Let's fucking ride.
Let's go. What's up, Chris? What you thinking?
Yeah, man. I mean, we've been following the Doginals community for a while, basically since the beginning. And I almost look at it as kind of like a playground for kind of like new entrants, kind of like what you were saying, where it's just so cheap to transact. Everything's so lighthearted. Everywhere that you look, people are just kind of like having fun. If you're making mistakes, you're making mistakes in the 5, 10, 20, maybe $100 range, and then you just kind of upgrade to the different ecosystems as you kind of mature. So I don't know. I always thought it was funny what they're doing. It's cool to see them building like real products. You know, you mentioned Buffy Swap, a few other things that are actually being built within the ecosystem. So I like to see it growing, and it feels pretty grassroots to me. I like what they're doing.
Yeah, it's come a long way from just sponsoring race cars. Dogecoin communities come quite far, and the bobsled team, I think, was one of them as well.
That's right.
What's up, Bark? One of the founders and creators of Doginal Dogs, man. How you feeling today?
Yo, what up, Jake? Thanks for having me. Happy to be here. Good to see all the Doginal dogs in the audience pulling up. I got a DM asking for me to pop in here. So just jumping in and, kind of interesting jumping in and just hearing the first, the first conversation in regards to market making or wash trading. I think it's super important that we're very considerate of the language that we use, both in spaces and on the timeline. I think people are very quick to make comments without having education on a specific topic. People will give, comments on, they'll write Etherscan threads and they won't know how to read Etherscan. They'll write MetaMask safety tips and they won't know how to use MetaMask. And when it comes to quote unquote market making, wash trading, I want you to take a look at what happened on Ethereum marketplace. Just go take a look at some of the reports made either on Dune or Dragonfly made a great report, even in regards to volume in 2022, that 80% of NFT volume, this is really pretty much pre-Blur, was market made, wash trading. That's 80%. And now with Blur, that number has only gone up. And I would even go as far to say that 90 to 95% now, just if I was to guess, was market making activities. And in regards to Blur and Ethereum, it's to farm Blur token and then eventual going to Blast token, right? So the whole system is incentivized for people to farm for rewards, right? So what are they getting? The creators are getting royalties and the traders are getting rewards for doing that. What's interesting on Doginals is neither of those things exist. So it's just, I don't know, I just find it very interesting that people are very quick to make comments in regards to these terminologies. And I think some people should be careful, right? Because the ecosystem is very small. And and you have accounts with 50 followers, shooting flare guns into the air in regards to what they believe is going on in the ecosystem. Yet they've never built anything or done anything, and don't realize that there's very few builders here, and questions should be asked first, conversations should be had, research should be done, and also do realize that it is an open market. There is no control. It is a fully decentralized system. People can do whatever the hell they want to do in regards to trading. And as a final comment, been in this space a really long time, Jake. Myself and the team. We understand what works. We understand what doesn't work. And ultimately, we're here to create a product that is going to help bring liquidity into the ecosystem and get attention and have this ecosystem be taken seriously. And I think in regards to what projects have done on Doge since February 23, outside of early inscriptions, there's been very little done in terms of managing a legitimate project or building anything that's attracting or going to attract the attention of masses or Magic Eden, so on and so forth. And I think we're doing that right now. You take a look at the Doginal Dogs community. I think it's one of, if not the most active communities on crypto Twitter. Obviously there's a lot going on Ordinal's side on Bitcoin, but in terms of the Doginals, people take a look at the community. They look at our spaces. They look at what happens when we roll, and we roll hard. And I think that's something that should definitely be celebrated. I don't need anybody's approval. I don't need anybody to clap for us. But certainly, if you care about Doge and you want to see the ecosystem grow, you certainly should do some research and investigation into what we're doing, because I think you might be surprised. And I think that there's a lot to be learned here, and a lot of bridges that can be built instead of blowing shit up before any progress is made. And that this is not targeted at anybody, but it sucks to see. It just sucks to see a lot of these comments. Of course, it's not going to slow us down at all in terms of what we're doing. I just wish that people, had some experience under their belt when it came to this stuff and realize what's really going on in the ecosystem overall. Crypto is not what it seems. Crypto is not, this is not the TradFi, which is regulated, SEC, everything's being watched. This is decentralized Wild West. You need to understand that going in here, and to put expectations or to put a framework of TradFi onto crypto or decentralized, blockchain is just simply the wrong place to even begin with. And I feel like that's where a lot of these opinions come from. And ultimately, everyone's here for different reasons, but we're all here to build a future. That's what we're doing at Doginal Dogs. We've got a serious team behind us. We've got a lot of big players supporting what we're doing. And we're here to kick some ass, and bring attention to the ecosystem. And yeah, so thanks for having me up, Jake. Appreciate it. Love the space, man. Love your comments on the ecosystems. I love your insights, and been following you for a bit now. So I appreciate you doing the space on Doginals and wanting to learn more, man.
Yeah, appreciate you for coming up here and addressing it. Yeah, you may have missed a little bit of the beginning, where we were just talking about what is the actual difference between wash trading and market making? And essentially, it's really not. The only difference here is that you can actually see on chain the transactions that are happening. And so we're just mentioning, we weren't discrediting the project or anything. We're just saying it's an opportunity to tell people in public in a transparent way that there is a market maker, and right, we're all adults here. Everyone can make their own informed decisions based off of what they see, and there is literally no way to stop it. The only thing that comes to mind in terms of preventing market making from happening is either the collections get delisted off of a marketplace, or you have analytical tools come in and put these like market making or wash trading filters on. But even then, it doesn't really stop anything. I mean, look at Looks Rare in 2021, right? They had over $1 billion of wash trading, and that didn't stop anybody, right? People still continued to trade it, right?
Totally.
So,
I mean, you think about what Bark just said too. It's like we don't have what basically, that kind of reward system for traders. And my gut would say yet, right? It's like you don't have blur on Doge yet, right? Like it's very possible it comes over, and then you can get rewarded for trading, right? And market making and doing all that other sort of stuff. And so it seems like in a lot of ways, Doge is actually ahead of a lot. Just
attacking it now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is great. And again, I don't know if you heard the beginning. We were talking about when I got into Forex in 2016 and learned what the market maker method was. Right, that really was. I was like, oh, like right, 99% of the volume that's trading through the currency markets is banks trading money back and forth, right? And then you also have the market makers who are intentionally trying to liquidate you. And here it's just a smaller scale, but on Bitcoin and right, some of the centralized marketplaces, it's really tough to see that type of transaction history because it's all going through central stuff. Here, this is completely on chain. So, I will never tell anyone to do whatever they want to do with their money. They're all adults. As long as I just really enjoy these open conversations, even the tough ones, right? Because everyone's always going to have differing opinions on how they invest, how they collect, how they view different types of projects. And hey, as long as we can sit here and talk and people can make their own informed decisions, and who am I? I'm just a guy on a microphone and talking about different things, right? That's literally all it is at the end of the day.
To say it again, almost zero people I know, actually nobody I know has been more bullish on Doginals than Jake, man. Jake was like, day one, this is amazing. Let's do this. Like, I know Jake, this is life-changing money. Jake's going to be like, I can't wait to visit the private island, bro. I can't wait.
It's dude, it's awesome to see. I've been a Doge holder since 2017, right? I've been pretty active in the community. Go back to my tweets from 2018 talking about Doge, and my big win in 2021 was actually Dogecoin, and coming full circle back to it, building on top of Dogecoin was very appealing to me. And it's very exciting to say the least. One of the big aha moments for me too was watching the Dipe mint. When Dipe was minting, I was sitting there on I think it's dogechain.info, and I was watching blocks get filled, and there was 2 or 3 blocks in a row that had 4,000 transactions. And Dogecoin blocks are 1 minute apart. Crazy. So seeing 15,000 transactions getting processed in a few minutes with the blockchain just functioning with no issues, that to me was like, oh shit, this is definitely going to compete with with the likes of Solana and some of these other high throughput chains. But here, right, Dogecoin has 5.5 million holders. That is something that not many other blockchains can even come close to, right? And right, as long as we continue to build, right, the Doginal Dogs community is out, right? You're definitely aware, right? People are out. If you look past the price of it, right, in terms of just community activity, right, whether they're all community activities or whatever, people running multiple accounts, who really knows? But you guys are definitely the ones that pop up the majority of the time. And I talked about this probably last month, that I'd taken a screenshot. This was before Doginal Dogs minted, of the top 10 collections on Doge, and like 6 of them were all derivative projects. You look at Bitcoin ordinals, there's 1, I think now, or 2. You have Bitcoin punks that's consistently in the top 10. I think that's really it, right? And so to have unique or unique collections coming in and people building something that's not just a derivative shows that there's a lot more interest. So that's something that I actively look at So exciting to say the least. Go ahead, Chris, and then we'll go to 8-Bit, Swizz, and Bark.
Yeah, Jake is an OG Dogecoiner, so it's got to be pretty surreal for him to see the ecosystem kind of blossom and blow up in a cool way. We talk about it a lot, how there's so much stale capital between all these different chains that, people have just been sitting on their coins and they haven't had anything to spend them on. So to finally see these ecosystems kind of grow up a little bit and give people different ways to interact alongside the chain, it's kind of something that we've been waiting for a long time. So for a lot of the Doge community, Doginals community, that's boots on the ground every day, what are you guys looking forward to? What's missing in the ecosystem? What needs to be built for maybe some of the builders in the audience?
Yeah, let's see. We'll ask Bark that since he's running Doginal Dogs. What are like some of the, the larger aspirations or, key things that need to be built in the Doginals community?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, man. I mean, I take a look at what happened with Ordinals, right? I mean, we were all there. I mean, for the most part, I think a lot of people had Ordinals come across their plate, and for whatever reason, whether they didn't go hard in Ordinals or completely skipped over them, the people that were building there, right? The problem with Ordinals initially was like the community was extremely small. It was extremely complicated, and ultimately, like once you got into them, you did realize that it wasn't that much different than buying an NFT, right? It was pretty similar steps in terms of complexity. And with Unisat and kind of crashing and stuff, it was kind of built on toothpicks for a little bit. It was hard. It was scary. And as of right now, I see the same thing with Doge and Doginals. There's no marketplace that offers, really low friction. And I think Magic Eden's going to be the first to do it, Chris. With their new multi-chain wallet coming out, that's going to be a big opportunity for people. Not only having them on Magic Eden, they have the brand appeal that they're going to be able to attract a big customer base already, but also they're going to have the Ordinals people that have already been trading Ordinals that understand what the hell is going on, being able to pick get into the Doginal ecosystem. So ultimately, I would just say exposure to legitimate marketplaces and less friction on the wallets. Now, Doge Labs and Doggy Market, it already is very frictionless, but there's just a lot of people that won't even touch those. They just won't. They simply won't. If it's not Magic Eden, if it's not Blur, if it's not Ordinals Wallet, if it's not Unisat, they're not going to touch it. So for me, like the biggest thing right now and the biggest priority, where my head is at, right, in terms of like a macro thesis, is we need to get Doginals to be way, more frictionless to own, to trade, to view, and to experience. So that would be sort of really what I'm seeing. I mean, liquidity is great. We'd love to see more liquidity come into the ecosystem. Everybody, you can't deny. I mean, you can walk or you can talk, but the walking is important. We'd love to see more liquidity come in. That's going to attract a lot of people as well. But as of right now, I mean, it's reducing friction and education. And then also education as to what makes Bitcoin Ordinals and Doginals different. I think it's very important that people understand that Doginals isn't just a copy pasta of Bitcoin Ordinals in the sense that it's just the same thing on a different chain. There's legitimate tangible benefits, and the primary being that anybody can go on Doge for just cents on the dollar. I mean, I'm talking major fractions of Bitcoin and experience Ordinals in a way that's cheaper. I mean, this is going to open the door. I mean, looking at the Bitcoin Ordinals cost, it's just so expensive. So for me, Chris, it's just like making sure that people realize that Doge is a serious proof of work blockchain, right? Jake just talked about the holders, right? 5.5 million wallets and a huge market cap. You got Elon Musk backing the chain, Twitter payments, like just education and reducing friction is really where I'm at right now. And then also supporting builders, right? The ecosystem's super small and we want to support other builders. We're us and our team and our community, we're trying to constantly highlight new builders, new project. Webb is a Spaces host. He's having a new Ordinals minting project coming up tomorrow. Like we're just trying to, and like with the Francs, and we're trying to really just promote builders and use our platform to increase that. But as of right now, those are the things I see. There's too much friction. We need to get on these big marketplaces. We need liquidity and we need education as to, as to why Dogecoin is a great choice.
Yeah, it is a good point because some of the, OG crypto traders, they won't trade on anything that's not Binance or even going back and forth, anything that's not Bitfinex, right? If you're even before that, a lot of that wealth sits on that chain, Bitfinex, or that centralized exchange that does not leave. And because for them, that's the validation. And it is growing now towards Magic Eden is becoming one of those places where people will not trade new ecosystems unless it's populated on Magic Eden. So I do think that is kind of the next step, and they have been teasing it, right? Which is pretty exciting, but we'll see. You know, ultimately the final boss will probably be Binance. Go ahead, 8-bit, and then we'll go to Swizz.
Yeah, I appreciate you, brother. So you actually nailed something early on today. You said that, you know, when Blur, something like Blur with the trading points hits us, we're really going to pop off. Bro, drc20.org offers the pad token to reward people that trade on their marketplace. So we're already 10 steps ahead of the Ordinals community with that. All right, that's fucking huge if you ask me. Now, the greatest opportunity here on Doginals is to educate. When I got to Ordinals, there were no educational resources. So even if I wanted to ape in with my 1 or 2 Bitcoin, I just couldn't do it, right? So in order for us to unlock the million holders of Doge, that is what we got to do. And Bark, myself, and others are doing it daily. And then we're doing it nightly. So we're early, guys. Let's ride.
What type of educational content are you putting as a priority? Is it video content, audio content, text content, etc.?
Oh, dude, it's going to be all of the above, my friend. I'm really finding the greatest opportunity with the visual, right? The visual representation when I'm actually, sharing my screen and then launching a tutorial. Me, myself, I'm now responsible for over 75 new Dogecoin nodes, and 4 or 5 people are actually inscribing on those nodes on their own already. And I think that's a huge opportunity because when I got here, people were telling me there was a 25 kilobyte file limit. That's not true. I mean, you know me, I'm the versions of recursion guy from Bitcoin Ordinals, bro. I figured out recursion, baby. So there's a lot of things that we need to get straightened out here, and indexing is another issue that, Benny and Track are coming, so we're on our way.
Yeah, I have a private chat with the Track guys, and they definitely have their sight set on Doginals. They're actively working on it. I don't want to say too much, but it is definitely, in their purview. And once they build what they're building, then they're going to go all in. They've been asking me a lot about kind of the emerging ecosystem. So when you just have an indexer that people could plug into, you'll see this place really explode. The issue right now, right? We talked about this earlier with Ethan and doing DIPE. He thought he was going to have his indexer up, and he said the next day, it's 6 weeks later, still, right? Just got transfers written. There was another one that popped up called CDRC20, where this person had a local indexer, and now that website's like dysfunctional. So that's where Track comes in, and we'll be able to apply that and to build really, really solid infrastructure. So
Jake, have you explored the Track core yet, buddy?
I haven't. No, so I'm not a dev by any means, but I do understand a lot of this in its like deep complexities. It's that's what Benny's been building towards since he created Track. This is literally what he said. He wanted to put out a decentralized indexer. And so I haven't explored it. Do you have any insight to it as somebody who's a little bit more technically minded?
Yeah, absolutely, brother. So what he did is he actually allowed folks like yourself and me, I'm not that technically sound, bro. I'm just really good at learning, in my opinion. So what this does is it gives the layman or the normal folk the opportunity to just type in npm install and then run Ord on your computer. Brother, you can search every Satoshi known to man. You can search the whole blockchain. So if that brings it over here to Doge, bro, you can search every Doge map, every NAT, everything on the blockchain right in front of you on your computer.
Yeah, it is exciting. Really, really exciting. What's up, Swizz?
So what's up, man? Hey, yo, I'm gonna say, like, I appreciate you bringing up the watch trading thing, because every space that I go in, bro, people are talking about this with Doginals, and bro, just like I tell them, like, like the floor is real on the Doginal dogs. Yes, people are saying like something about watch trading, but the problem that I have, and this isn't with you, Jake, because you didn't do this. The problem what I have with most people is they're assuming certain people are doing it. And I don't like that one bit. I think people need to be careful. And if you're going to assume, you better come with the facts. You better come with the receipts. And I haven't seen any yet. So straight up, it's a whole lot of talking, no receipts at all. So, and then another point that I wanted to make was like, a question just got asked, like, what do we need on Doginals? I think that we need more products. I think people need to come over and build whatever they believe that they can build. And honestly, there's not a lot of competition. Like, dude, you can run laps around these people. Like the top 100, honestly, just straight up, yo, nobody's doing anything. So it's not a lot of active people. I will say, Doginal Dogs, I will give them credit. Yo, they've been very active. I made a point that Bark and Books and the whole community. I got to give the whole community credit. They've onboarded a lot of people, and there's a lot of builders like 8-Bit that's onboarded people and educating them. And when I can get in spaces and stuff, when I'm not like in the back channels, just building myself, I'm also educating people and building myself. So there's some cool products, and the Woofy swap, I seen that. That was really, really cool. I bought the token like a few weeks ago. But yeah, man, there's a lot of products that really isn't doing anything. A lot of tokens that isn't doing anything. So if you're not on the Doginals and you got a cool idea, come experiment with it. Like, it's so cheap. What are you gonna lose? Just come see if people like it. And who knows? Reach out to me and I might even support you.
Doginal Dog current floor is 17,000 Doge, which is like, what is that? Like $1,400?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to chime in on this. We definitely needed some people like Bark and Swizz and all of them to come ready into Doginals. Like, that's what really we needed. We needed some ready guys. Like, anybody else who comes, they're just dropping off of like floor level. Of course, you're not going to get the traction that Bark and them are getting. So even if it's not real, or even if it is real, they're getting that traction, whether it was real or not. That's what was going to happen. Real shit.
Yeah, it's a good take. Yeah. And something I just want to note as well. I'm just a person where if there's something controversial, I'm going to ask you directly. I want to hear your opinion. I'm not going to talk behind your back. I'm not going to do all this bullshit. I want to have this open conversation again, right? So everyone can make their own informed decision based off of the conversation that they heard. And to me, right, that's the most decentralized way. Never telling somebody what to buy, what not to buy. As long as you're an adult and you understand everything that exists and you like whatever side, then that's up to you. That's kind of how I see it. So go ahead, Bark.
Yo, love the mentality, Jake. Look, there's a reason I'm sitting up here right now having this conversation with you. Not afraid of, I know you're not going to punch me through the fucking phone. So again, I think what's really important. I love what Swizz said. I love what Early said. I mean, this ecosystem has been around since, February of 23. And really up into this point, it's been, primarily outside of some of the stuff that Swizz has been doing and a couple of these early inscriptions, it's been derivatives and, $10 floors and $30 of daily volume in spaces with 6 people in it, right? What we were able to do with the Doginal Dogs, we did a democratic mint, or a democratic whitelist process. Winners were selected every day. Then they got to pick 3 friends, and then their friends got to pick 3 friends. So everybody that was in the community and showing up should have and did get a whitelist, and which resulted in 2 free mints, 0 gas. We were the first project on Doge to do this. All you had to do is click 1 mint button. We took care of the gas. We took care of all the fees. And we put, right now it's $2,600 into our community's pocket, everybody's pocket. We put that in there. And it is liquid. Like, if you want to liquidate, you can liquidate. That it will be bought. And I just think that I think it's something that really should be celebrated and something that should be studied, right? By, when I see derivatives or other people that want to come at the Doginal Dogs. I mean, ultimately criticism is fine. I don't do what I do for the approval or for the comments of strangers on Twitter. I'm more than happy to talk about things though, like I am right up here now. But definitely, I mean, I think that if more people looked at what we were doing and said, what can we do to emulate, to onboard more and to bring more people in? I mean, not for nothing, our whole community is Ethereum traders, Solana traders, Cardano. They're all different backgrounds, right? Very few people of our community were inscription native. And what we're doing right now is inscription education, getting people to inscribe. How much of the community now is running nodes? Thanks to a lot of the efforts of the community, and shout out to 8-Bit for pushing that. They're running nodes, doing their own inscription, getting their own art up there. I think people, negativity and hatred is super loud in life. I mean, it's going to be much louder, and a minority of vocal negative people can be extremely loud. But ultimately, you just go hang out in our spaces and kind of see what we're up to. You'll see that we genuinely are passionate about what we're doing, and we're here to make a positive difference in the ecosystem. And I think that's what is most important. And people who can think critically and make decisions on their own will see that. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and of course we have relationships with Doge Labs. I mean, certainly if people want to get their collections up there, take advantage of the launch pad. I mean, these are kind of the things that we can also help our community do as well, because we definitely want to see the ecosystem grow. Swizz said it, there's or Early said it, excuse me. I mean, everybody's been saying it. There's very few legitimate projects. I mean, even Jake said it. There's very few legitimate projects right now. We need more serious builder. We need more teams, and that's the only way this ecosystem is going to grow. Not just with a few projects just hanging out. We need less derivatives, more real organic ideas, and I want to see some of the things that we've seen on Ordinals. I want to see a lot of the techniques in the inscription progress that it was made on Ordinals. I want to see that be ported over to Dogecoin more. I know 8-Bit has been working on some doing games, and we saw mini Doges do Doom. We're working on some GameFi things as well behind the scenes, which we're investing a lot of time, energy, and resources into. So we are really out here trying to push the ecosystem forward, get some publicity, get people to see that Doge is actually not just a joke. There's real use cases for inscriptions on there. So I just wanted to put that out there. And again, I mean, without Swizz and 8-Bit and the rest of the crew and Hash and Web and these people that are out here being vocal, the space would still be, a bunch of derivatives hosting, 3-person Twitter spaces. And look at it now, what it's turned into.
Yeah, the most important metric is bringing in new users, new liquidity, new projects, new originality, authenticity. That is one of the best metrics to evaluate it. Yeah, the fact that mini Doges went in and did that the whole Doom game, I didn't even know was possible. I don't know if he did recursion or what it was, but I was also under the impression that
that's the most bullish part. There was no recursion at all. That was on chain. Me myself, I inscribed 40 HTML games statically, and I'm actually in the process of inscribing every piece of code that Danny Huep and On-Chain Monkey did.
Interesting. Yeah. So I thought there was like a 1,200 kilobyte limit. How do you bypass that? Do you know how that actually works?
Totally, brother. So when ApeZord fourth, what Casey did, he actually stumbled upon something that we use in the modern day internet. And what he called it was subwoofers, bro. So by actually splitting up the UTXOs, you're able to actually just do what recursion does for us on Ordinals on chain on Doginals. So there's no file limit. There's only a limit to how much money you have.
Wow. That is exciting. Adam, remember when we first did our first Doginal space? I think that was last summer. All of the projects that we had talked with were all gaming focused, right? Totally. And we were like, oh, this is definitely where the ecosystem is headed, right? Cheap transactions, high throughput. Now, if there's no size limit, right, you could do
amazing
stuff, theoretically. Yeah. What do you think now? Even we've been in the Doginal space literally since the beginning, right, through Emblem and stuff like that. But 10 months later, as it's progressed, what are your takeaways?
I think, in general, people just we're copycats. We're just monkey see, monkey do machines. So I'm looking at like what they're coming out with. And actually, I mean, to your guys' credit, like the dogs and stuff, they're cool, unique. But I'm looking at like coming up as like Doge Moonbirds. It's like, why would we be, but it's just because this is the way humans work. We copy. But that doesn't mean there's somebody who may be sitting in this space right now who has an idea that is new, right? And that actually captures, new people's attention and interest. And anytime you have a blockchain, especially a proof of work OG blockchain like this, that can do transactions at near zero fee, there's a lot of opportunity for interesting stuff to happen. So I still don't think, we may be right in the long run. Maybe it is some sort of gaming, something that happens on Doge, right? And it's totally possible because of these cheap transactions, right? And it's super exciting, man. And everybody in this space, appreciate you joining us and talking about it. And obviously you guys are first, and first is like we talk about PFPs and kind of traditional stuff, but being here for what's possible, I think is what's really, really exciting.
Yeah, and speaking on what Bark had said about a lot of his community or a lot of the Doginal Dogs community, not just everyone part of the community is mostly ETH traders. Yep. We saw Crypto School's 2019 ETH NFT PFP just did their, I think they call it Doge Skulls drop. I also saw the Doge Pound, which was a popular 2021 ETH NFT collection, tease that they're going to do Doginals drop as well. So as long as we're, aware as a community, the intentions of the project, are those extractive? Are they trying to come in and, put their foot in the ground and actually build, or are they just trying to make some money, right? Something that as a community we need to, self-police and just kind of be aware of. But it is exciting to see that. That was when we were in the early Bitcoin ordinals days. That was what we were looking for when we saw Frank and Coldy and all these ETH NFT. I think Jack Butcher did some stuff super early or inscribed, and we were like, oh, we already brought him over immediately, right? And so those are very, very strong and healthy signs. I'm assuming then you'll probably see any type of Doge project that was on ETH or any of these other collections just say that they're coming home, right? Such an easy narrative to say, right? Go ahead, Swizz, and then we'll go to Chris.
Yo, you guys mentioned the owls. Yo, that's hilarious. But yo, the reason why I think that's cool, man, is because a lot of people wasn't thinking. Going back, I did the Doge Punks back in February, late February, early March of 2023, and a lot of people did that derivative art style. And going back, man, like sub 100K, dude, you should have been thinking of like originality, because that's what's gonna hit. Like if you got a sub 100K collection with original art, that's the shit is gonna hit. I think that a lot of that stuff sub 100K, I keep saying it's undervalued, but that's one point that I wanted to make. Another point, you guys mentioned games and stuff, which I thought was cool, because going back 6 months ago, I put the first game on Dogecoin, and that's not me to say that to brag. That's me to say, if I could do it, anybody could do this. Like I used ChatGPT and did like an HTML game. I put like Pac-Man on there, Tetris. I believe Tetris was the very first game that I put on Dogecoin, and I did the Snake game, and I did like my own Dogepunk game that I never launched. It's like a block runner where you jump over these obstacles, and they're fully functioning and stuff. They're really basic, just like just basic games. But if I could do that with ChatGPT, anybody could do it. I'm not tech savvy. I use this actually it's like an ordinal thing. It's called Wild Tings, and you could put the code inside of that, and then it shows you what it'll give.
Yo,
and then
recursethebuilder.io.
Yeah.
Let's go, bro.
Yeah, so just experiment with it. Like if I could do it, anybody could do it. Just come over and experiment.
Chris, what you think?
Man, was just kind of thinking, we've got some people in here. Me, Jake, and Adam work at Emblem Vault. So maybe for Jake or Adam, you've got all these people in here. We're a multi-chain protocol. We just launched Bitcoin DGods, curated collection, all the ordinals curated collections coming up. Why might they care? What might be the future look like for maybe some Doginals and Emblem Vault collaborations? But why should they care about something like Emblem?
Yeah, just to take it multi-chain, right? Our thesis at Emblem is meeting collectors where they are, and as I'd mentioned, right, they're collectors and they're traders and community came over from ETH and Solana, so meeting them in a more familiar environment of denominating it in ETH or getting access to smart contract tooling, to taking your Doginal dogs to Solana to go deposit into some sort of LP game or gamification. That's kind of where we're going, right? That's where people want to be able to import and export their value into these protocols. We're actually looking to add Doginal support. Right now, the APIs surrounding Doginals are quite centralized and quite immature. So we've gone around to multiple teams to try to get an API so we could build our balance checker for Doginals. So whenever that does happen, whenever we can finally get that, then we'll have Doginal support and you'll be able to take them to wherever you want, right? We're going to be deploying right now we're on ETH and Polygon. We'll be on Bitcoin Ordinals beginning of Q2, hopefully, and then Solana, hopefully sometime in Q3. And going back and forth between those, I think is very, very interesting, right, to say the least. And it'll be very, very exciting for cross-chain tooling, cross-chain DeFi. That's where the future is going. To me, it's without a doubt. And it's even more apparent this cycle, like retail's still not even here. And a lot of the crypto natives are partaking in 5 to 10 different blockchains per month, right? Trading on and experimenting with. And it was not like that before. I could tell you, I've been here for 8 years. It was not like that at all. Even last cycle, right? It was like this heavy ETH versus Solana kind of
Maybe
narrative.
people had 2 wallets, maybe, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now
And Magic is one that's attacking this. They were very, they're very aware of what was happening. Same with Emblem as well. And it's exciting to finally see that this is coming. But yeah, we do have something in store. Hopefully come out tomorrow or Thursday during the town hall. Make sure everyone comes to the town hall on Thursday. We got a lot of stuff to share. But go ahead, 8-Bit.
Yeah, Jake, I just got to shout you out, man. You've been one of the biggest proponents of that multi-chain future, bro, since last year, man. You've actually inspired something that I wrote, bro. It's an honor to tell you about this, but bro, I've been starting to develop like a cross-chain interoperable recursive module. So it would enable us to communicate from Dogecoin to Bitcoin, using some code. That's from inscription to inscription, brother.
That to me is the holy grail. I actually got that idea from Luke, who is kind of one of the leading Litecoin ordinal guys and helped Adam restart Bell's Coin. I had a podcast with him. I think it was like April last year, and he proposed this idea of cross-chain recursion. And I was like, holy shit, that's the final boss right there. I guess I think you have to add like a few endpoints to each chain, but to me, like cross-chain recursion is essentially just like proof of work bridges. That's the easiest way to you utilize the strengths of each ordinal ecosystem, right? Whether you want Doginals cheap fees, or you want Bitcoin ordinal security, right? Or you want Litecoin ordinals Mimblewimble access, right? There's all kinds of different opportunities. You want Bellinals, very slow block times.
World's slowest,
right? There's so many opportunities out there. And again, I think at some point, a lot of these other older proof of work chains will also get additional ordinal ecosystems for whatever the strengths are. And I think cross-chain recursion is really what will open up that access. So give me a little bit more information. What are your leading thoughts about cross-chain recursion?
Sure, bro. So what really kind of opened my mind to it is when I started trying to run the wonky ORD, which is the Dogecoin version of ORD, the ORD client. And what I noticed was that the Rust RPC code, the library, was so similar that perhaps with just a simple communication layer, we could actually implement cross-chain recursion. So I started writing the code, and I started looking into the real world to see if there's actually examples of it. And I found it. So I've actually started running the code, and it's possible. Oh, it's possible, bro. I'm just not ready to share it with everybody yet.
So give us a simple idea of what that would, like something that could be built that would be interesting in that, using that cross-chain.
Totally, bro. So, dude, my first thing is Bitmap and Dogemap, bro. If we got Bitmap and Dogemap connected, it could change everything. It would actually unlock so much liquidity and make something so special happen, guys.
Yeah, I think so as well. A lot of it's still a little bit ambiguous in terms of what it all means. But Adam, as we've learned, if you just put a lot of toolings out for builders, they'll figure it out as long as they know there's some liquidity on the other side.
Yeah,
that's exactly that's the proliferation of Emblem Vault was back in 2021, putting rare Pepes from Bitcoin and selling on Ethereum. People knew there was millions of dollars on the other side of that vault, right? And so same thing here, right? As 8-Bit is talking, it's like I don't know specifically what it is, but I know pairing these together, there's going to be something there that is going to be quite attractive to not just him, but to everybody, right? Dogemap and Bitmap are probably the two largest map ecosystems. Although Soul Map, I think, has a lot of traction, or did at some point. I'm glad to see someone's actually pursuing it. You should definitely connect with Luke. What's his last name, right? I think.
Yeah, just DM me. I'll
And you should connect with Luke because he's been talking about this for a long time, and he knows Litecoin ordinals and Bell's ordinals like the back of his hand. So,
yeah.
It's exciting.
Dude, I'd be honored, bro. I actually was kind of reading what he was writing about the Bell's blockchain, because I felt like that was one of the coolest things that happened recently, bro. The Bell's blockchain just came out of nowhere, and like Degens did what Degens do, bro. For real.
Broke the chain.
Or
nearly broke the chain. Let's just say it's a little slow. It's a little slow, but I'll DM you after the space, and I'll give you Luke's account so you can DM him. He's a good guy.
Appreciate you, Ken.
Yeah, it's exciting. What's up, Swizz? Thank you for being patient.
Oh, no problem, man. You guys, I raised my hand and y'all started talking about like what I was thinking about, which was the Bell descriptions, yo. And going back to this guy I helped out. His name is Graham.
Oh, sure.
I helped him out with what?
No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so Graham, yeah, I helped him out with dope doges. And I was actually reaching out to him about Bell descriptions, and he had a sub 12K dope doges for like Doginals. And then we got to talking a little bit about Bell descriptions, and I got to checking it out and going back, like looking at Bell descriptions, like exactly how Doginals were at first, which is crazy. And I'm super bullish on Bell descriptions. And he actually like came out with the first collection. He's got like like
the
a
rocks. He's got the
420
early
supply,
rocks,
dude.
all sub 100. Yep.
Yeah. I'm talking to him about that today, actually. It's like and then he's coming out with some fucking Beller, I don't even know, these Bell rockers or some shit. But they're pretty cool. But nah, dude, I have a question though about that. Dude, the blockchain is super slow.
Yeah.
What's making it slow and what could speed it up?
Well, it's a couple things. Basically, it's the early version of Dogecoin. So it's the one Billy built like a week before Dogecoin released. So it has all the same problems that the Doge kind of developers had to figure out later. Which is the blockchain doesn't change its difficulty level quick enough. And so when we have huge spikes in hash rate, it doesn't adjust quick enough. So the complexity to solve a block gets really, really hard. And then we have hash drop away, which makes the block really, really difficult to solve. So we've had like basically block freeze. We've had blocks take 3 hours to go through. That combined with massive amounts of inscriptions. We've had like 25 million inscriptions, just completely clogged the chain. And so, yeah, it's a challenge. We're just trying to keep it running right now as we maybe move to a merge mine with either Litecoin or Dogecoin. But there's significant challenges. We'd love to have anybody in the space, jump in the Discord and try, if you're devs especially, to help us kind of work through, because there are a bunch of different avenues we could take to try and fix it. But Graham's awesome. He's super. I mean, as far as like inscriptions goes, he's the guy who figured it out on Bell's coin, which is amazing. He's super high level dev. So very, very lucky to have him in the community and helping out with Dogecoin for sure.
Yeah, we've been talking with Graham from the Emblem side for a little while. He's a smart guy. What's funny is, remember when we had that first Bell's Spaces, he came in and had said that he wants to do crypto full time and he'll do whatever he needs to do. This is like literally within the first few days of Bell's popping up, and then he built the first Bell's inscription tool, or with them and OW, I think was around the same time. And now he's actually doing it. So it's one of those cool stories that if you're an opportunist and you want to pursue something, dude, just stick around and you'll find it. You'll definitely find it. Go ahead, Sis.
Yeah, like, dude, I gotta give that dude credit, man. I've been talking to him for the past month, ever since I launched, like, or I didn't launch it. I helped him mint out the dope doges. It went really good with the dope doges, and I made him a little bit of money from that and stuff. And he was talking about like whenever he mints out the other collection, which I'm gonna help the guy because I really do want to see him succeed. And he's looked out for me. He's airdropped me some dope doges for free and stuff when he didn't have to. But he said he's gonna go full time once he does that Bell collection. So I really want to see the dude win, man. He's a genius. He's it's not a coincidence that he was early to both ecosystems. Like being early to Doginals is crazy too, man. Because like sub 12K, yo, is wild, man. Because that first day was just, I mean, there was like 20,000 inscriptions. So he was there like the first day on Doginals and Bell inscriptions. So
yeah,
like, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was there early on Bitcoin as well. So I mean,
I know he was early on Litecoin as well. Yeah, like he helped build.
Really?
I think he built the first inscription tool on Litecoin as well.
I got a question about Litecoin, Jake. While you mentioned or whoever just mentioned that. Jake, I seen you repost something about Litecoin, and I seen a marketplace just like Doji Market.
Yep.
Could you tell us a little bit about Litecoin inscription?
Yeah, Litecoin inscriptions. I think it's just a fun story of just turmoil and success and implosion, and that is the most clusterfucked inscription ecosystem by far. But you know, one of my main thesis though is like, and Chris was talking about this earlier as well. These proof of work chains have literally been around for 10 years and have billions of dollars of value. And those holders, you know, they've had no way, like their thesis on the original chain has been disproven, right? Litecoin has not become the payment, is not, you know, Bitcoin silver, right? Dogecoin's a meme, but now it's been evolving. And there's $5 billion to $10 billion sitting there of users who want to do something. And right, the only thing they can do right now is sell it to USD. And a lot of people like Litecoin and they want to build an identity around, they have an identity in the Litecoin ecosystem. And so they need PFPs, they need all these different things. And Litecoin Ordinals was the second Ordinals ecosystem to pop up. It popped up, I think like a week or two before Doginals did. And it was exciting to start, right? Emblem Vault was involved. We helped sell a lot of the Litecoin punks to begin with. They had a few marketplaces pop up, a wallet popped up, then the two marketplaces imploded, and then they had a rogue marketplace issue a snapshot. They were doing LTC20 trading, but the Unilit marketplace was allowing stale transfer inscriptions to be traded, so a lot of people were getting wrecked. And they did some sort of snapshot that like completely fucked a lot of the early holders, and then that marketplace rugged and trapped a lot. And so the ecosystem's just been, you know, it's been a whirlwind over the last year, dude. If you've been in Litecoin since the beginning, dude, you've been through it all.
It's so funny. It's like being so early, you would have thought, oh, this is, I mean, we thought at the time, I was like, dude, they're going to be second. This is going to be like, you know, the number two. And, you know, and it just, yeah, so many problems and just, you know, turn people off to it, frankly. Right. And so you got this like pause in building. So the wallets weren't there. Nothing was there. I think I've told it before, but like Luke, who launched like LTC20 or whatever, was like doing a giveaway, like just, you know, put your wallet address in and I'll give them out. He was just giving them away to everybody in the Discord. And I was so hesitant to like download the wallet. Like I was afraid it was going to like, you know, grab hold of my computer or whatever. You know, I didn't even want to do it, you know, because everything was so broken and dysfunctional. You know?
Yeah, and now it's exciting. I think also with the rise of Doginals, or just that the ecosystem's matured, a lot of Doginal holders are also Litecoin holders. And so we've seen now two marketplaces pop up for Litecoin Ordinals. One's called Chicken Market, which the dev team behind that said they actually forked the front end of Doggy Market somehow. So I asked Doggy Market if it was them. And then the other one, Ordinals.fun. I've been messaging with the guy. He said he'd been building it in silence for 3 months. And so you have now those two, and you have LightScribe, the wallet, which is not that great, to be honest. But it's the only wallet that has the APIs. So it's kind of, right, it's all tied together. And then you have the lead dev, Anthony, who's the one who forked Bitcoin Ordinals. He had to create a new indexer to fix the LTC20 ecosystem, because it's clearly obvious that these inscription ecosystems don't proliferate unless there's a solid fungible token market on top of it. It's just the inscription component of it's not enough to suffice.
Yep.
And so now he's fixed the indexer and he's working with Gate.io to fix that balance. And I think once that's fixed, then the Litecoin Foundation has come out and put a bunch of bounties out to get a bunch of these other things fixed. So there's definitely signs that it's coming back to life, right? Until it all implodes again. But to me, it's $5 billion sitting there. And the unique component of Litecoin Ordinals is that Litecoin has Mimblewimble, which is a privacy layer. It's essentially like a built-in coin join. And to me, I think LTC20 and Mimblewimble together doing private fungible tokens on Litecoin it could be a huge unlock. I know there's some complexities behind it, but I even made the joke. I said Monero walked, so LTC20 and Mimblewimble could run. It's a very interesting kind of dynamic that if you could do completely private fungible tokens on Litecoin, right, you would think that that would eventually find its way to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Which was always the narrative for a while was, hey, let's test on Litecoin, and then if it works, let's bring it to Bitcoin.
It's funny because I just saw there's a great video of Andreas Antonopoulos, like literally, like I think Satoshi did Mimble Wimble because it's literally like genius. Have you seen that video? I just saw
No.
it the other day. It's literally like, he's there just like Mimble Wimble, like the guy who came up with it, and I don't know this story fully, but like he did like one post on the Bitcoin Talk forum, and it was like the Mimble Wimble white paper or whatever, and like the guy then just ghosts, and he's like, I think it might have been Satoshi. It's such genius. Anyway, something for another day. I'll have to do a deep dive into it. It's incredible.
But this is why I love these inscription market discussions that we're doing once a week now, because it's very clear that this is just a massive trend, and it's just a parallel, it's a parallel market to everything. And again, another thesis is I just think a lot of these other proof of work chains that are considered dead that have maybe $1 billion in value are going to be brought back to life just because now you can add NFTs and add fungible tokens and all these different things. I do want to make the hands. I do want to say hello to Leo first. Thanks for joining, man. It's been a while since you've popped into one of these spaces. I know you're quite busy. For those that don't know, me, Adam, and Leo used to host shows together back under NFT Now. Was that 2 years ago, or maybe 2.5 years ago at this point? It's crazy, man. How you been?
Dude, I swear, every time I come up here, I miss our old shows.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are going strong. I love this. Like, you guys are like, honestly, I'm so completely out of the loop on everything y'all just talked about. So it's educational. Are you guys doing good? Like, I don't want to hijack the conversation here. Like, lots of people, you guys have a really great discussion going. I'm really just listening and learning. But you guys doing good?
Yeah, man. It's really like it's what it is talking about, what Ordinals kicked off and like the downstream ripple effects on literally every other blockchain on the planet is it's incredible. And part of this thesis, which Jake had from the beginning, is this idea that, Doge has this built-in massive base already, probably more than any other chain, of just people who have wallets, right? And stuff. And so like if this does catch fire on another chain, it's very possible Doge is the one. And so yeah, it's just it's wild to think about and to see what's getting built. And when it doesn't get built fast or right, like it did on Litecoin and kind of hit this big speed bump, you just see how it dies away. And that's not happened on Doge, although it did stumble, right? Doge just kind of pulled through, and now you have this like vibrant community here, building, I guess.
Yeah, it's exciting. What's up, Eric? Good to see you.
Hey, Jake, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me up. So I wanted to chime in on the Litecoin. Obviously, you guys know I mine with ASICs and Antminer. So Litecoin Pool actually started to honor the Doge merge mining. So starting February 10th, if you mine through litecoinpool.org, they pay out in Litecoin and Doge now for mining, which is great. But I wanted to ask you, I sent you a DM. As you know, I built a few things in the space and some others that people don't know behind, and I won't go into. But you brought up the privacy on Litecoin, which is interesting because I've been really trying to research shitcoins on Monero to have untraceable trading on Monero, and there's no way to do that because you've got to index those transactions. So I guess maybe we need to have another side combo, or when I meet you in Denver, we can talk. But to have the privacy on a chain that you index and see those transactions, I'm kind of curious on how that would bring privacy to life. Because if that's the case, that's something we will, will build with in that regards.
Yeah, I'll try to explain the best that I've been told. So when I talked to Luke about Mimble Wimble and how that works with ordinals, he said, think of like what a coin join is. That's essentially what Mimble Wimble is at the most like simple level to explain, right? So it's basically you're just putting a bunch of transactions or you're taking a bunch of transactions and mixing them together randomly and then dispersing them to a new wallet, right? It's kind of similar to like the ring signatures on Moreno as well. So he was saying with Litecoin ordinals, it doesn't really work because since they're non-fungible, if you're mixing a bunch of non-fungible assets together, right? Obviously, you want to get that same one, and right. So you could have some interesting gambling kind of or gamified kind of mints with Mimblewimble, right? If everyone mints 10,000 of PFP and then it gets randomly, generated to different wallets or mixed. But with LTC20, whether it's LTC20 or you bring runes over to Litecoin, with fungible tokens it works a little better because all the values, right? As long as you have that same value, it doesn't matter where it goes, right? So if everyone has, we'll just use Lite for example, right? If it mixes together 10 transactions of 100 Lite, you can send those to anybody because it's the same value, right? I think the difference here is whether it's an accounting based system like LTC20, or you need to use some sort of UTXO model like runes or pipe or whatever comes over. I think it's still largely to be determined. From what Luke has told me, building on Litecoin and actually even indexing Litecoin is actually a lot more. It's a lot tougher than Bitcoin ordinals because of the added complexities of Mimblewimble and cheaper fees and all these other things. So that's something I'm looking out for, and this is why I keep harping on Litecoin ordinals as being something of value for people to go and build in. And obviously, you've kind of identified it, and as Litecoin's been a testing ground essentially for Bitcoin, or at least that's what Maxis would say, right, over the last 6 or 7 years. Mimblewimble should be on Bitcoin at some point. I think it's still largely just underexplored.
It will be. Yeah, and I haven't explored it. That's why I was asking you those questions. I mean, when Atomicals drops the AVM here soon, any SHA-256 proof of work will be able to work on with Bitcoin. So your AVAX, Moneros. That's kind of why I've been diving into these other ones, because I kind of feel privacy may be some type of narrative play here in the future with everything we do now being so transparent. So yeah, no, we can definitely have some more talks on that. I appreciate that, Jake.
Yeah,
but
Atomicals on Litecoin sounds like it could make sense as well. I know you're big on that.
Yeah, we're currently cooking to bring that to Ordifine and Doge. So that's one of the things we're working on behind the scenes with our wallet, bringing that as a mobile app as well from Google Chrome extension. So a few things we're cooking on and other stuff I won't dive into, which you guys will kind of see here real soon.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see that. Just the amount of DeFi stuff that's already being attempted to be imported to Dogecoin, right? Like you have Dipe, which is pipe on Dogecoin. You're doing Atomicals on Dogecoin. Somebody tried to do CBRC20, which is CDRC20. You have the Dogecoin Rocks people, which apparently is like an OG Bitcoiner, said he's doing runes on Dogecoin. So of course,
I started doing DMT.
Oh yeah, was that you that posted that?
That's me, my brother. Not just posting. We in development on that.
Yeah, you replied with the Git book. It was like a week ago, maybe. What are your thoughts on that? Tell me about it. How are you gonna bring over NAT to Doge?
Well, Jake, I think that everything is really, really bullish, but we need the proper indexing, and that's where Benny comes in. And I've been speaking with Santiago and Benny myself. And I'm running Track Core currently on my computer, so. It all comes from proper indexing, and then we could really take off.
And to touch on that 8-bit, I know it's centralized with his API now, but talking with more behind the scenes today, they are his I guess version or volume 2 is going to be coming within the next month, and that's going to make it where it'll really push the decentralization of that indexing. So
that's what Track Core is, brother. It's the same way that we run nodes. The more people that download Track Core, the more decentralized it becomes.
Yeah, it'll become an open source, and you won't have to rely on his API. Is what I'm kind of getting at.
Dude, that's dope.
Yeah, that's all I'm getting at, brother. They're building on it to make it truly decentralized because it currently is centralized. So I've been talking behind the scenes. So just one update.
Dang. Awesome to see, dude. Awesome to see builders around here. Also, a few other things as well. Woofy Swap, right? That was the first DEX has finally made its way there. At least that's what they claim to be. You can deposit LPs. Whether it works or not, I think still to be determined. But That is there. There's another wallet that's being built, a launch pad, right? The pad, which I think Bark was talking about. It's exciting. Magic Eden's teasing it, right? And now you got OKX and Gate. It's woof only, I guess is the best way to say it. We'll go Doginals, Fepe, and then Swizz.
Hi everyone, Doginals Fepe here.
What's good?
Hi, thanks for having us. We are sub 100K Doginals project since March. To continue the conversation just now, other than DeFi, personally, I think that Metaverse will be huge in Dogecoin and Doginals because there will be many transactions happen in the Metaverse. And certainly the Dogecoin space is more fun and much more scalable. And it's easier to onboard new users. That's why we deploy a Metaverse protocol, a Metaverse asset protocol. If you have time to go into our Twitter account to see, there's a new Gitbook document that we propose, Metaverse asset protocol, a standard, in fact, and would like you all to have a look at it, and especially Jake yourself, and I can see Leonidas is here and 8-bit. Yeah, just take a look.
That's awesome, man.
We had Fepe on maybe our
on the
first show.
He was on the very first show. Yeah,
I think Fepe was the. They were going to make a meme out of that one. That was the best.
He donated me one. I think he was supposed to donate one to you, but you never gave him the deposit address. Adam's
fading generational wealth again.
That's okay. So the difference about our the standard that we suggest is we have a POP in the deploy inscription, which it suggests how many that amount that you need in order to populate one asset in the metaverse. And this is just a suggestion. Of course, it's up to the metaverse platform or creator or the builder to decide whether when they want to input the JSON file into the metaverse platform, how many amount is suitable to populate one asset for their JSON file. Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to take a look. These are healthy signs when early inscription collections or early founders are starting to build things outside of their own collection, right? Many doges just did the Doom or inscribed Doom on Dogecoin, which made CoinDesk headlines, right? Now you're building a metaverse standard that's very similar to what happened in Bitcoin ordinals, where you had like the early Emoji guys build recursive ward, and you had the inscribed Pepes come in, and I forget, they built something unique. So healthy signs. It's mimicking Bitcoin ordinals very, very closely. So
thank you.
Yeah, awesome, man, dude. Congratulations. It almost sounds like BRC 420 on Dogecoin.
That's what I was going to ask him, because I forked that and we began trying to develop that for Bitmap Valley. So is that what you're talking about, sir?
Doginals Fefe. Is it similar to BRC 420?
No. BRC 420, in my opinion, is a little bit centralized. Of course, each builder trader can can create any assets that they want, but it will still be on their platform, on their website, BRC 420. But this is a little bit different, means the community can inscribe the JSON and deploy any character that they want as a JSON format and decide how many amount to populate in the Metaverse protocol. So once a character means, for example, the first is puppy, and if is fully inscribed, then it's up to the builders, metaverse platform builders, to decide whether they want to create a 3D or 2D asset puppy in their platform. And if, let's say, I have a puppy JSON, I go to metaverse platform A, I will able to get a free min or a paid min from this metaverse platform. Of course, you could see 5 different platforms create 5 different unique puppy. So it's up to me as a holder of the puppy JSON to adopt which puppy that I go to whichever platform. But of course, the first who create the puppy obviously could have higher, speculate value, because first is first. Yeah. So basically, that's the concept. So the POP population is basically a gamification, so people can compete in collecting the JSON, the amount of JSON, in order to get the amount of metaverse asset that they want. So this is one of the slight difference between DRC 690 and BRC 420. Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to take a look after this. 8-Bit, do you have any follow up to it?
Yeah, I would just like to say, bro, I'm going to jump in your DMs because it seems like, you're ready to build, bro. I really, really like this. I love the idea. I just think that it's maybe something in itself. I wouldn't even compare it to DRC 420 because I really do believe that there's a ton of benefits of that DRC 420 protocol, specifically with royalty standards, a metaverse standard, and now the new recursive experimental standard that I've actually implemented. So I think we got to get together and really build in the open here. Brother, really exciting time.
Thanks for your opinion. Thanks.
Love to see that. What's up, Swizz?
Yo, I like listening to builders like this, bro. Just keep building and do your thing. But I'm gonna just give my opinion, yo. I'm bullish on the metaverse and stuff. And they say, yo, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Somebody build out DRC 420s, and that's gonna be the alpha for that, yo. That's gonna be the biggest fucking thing besides Doge maps when it comes to the metaverse on Dogecoin. But I did have some questions, yo, about earlier what we was talking about. Just 2 more questions about Litecoin. What did these Litecoin maps inscribe at? Like what price? And what is the order, do you think, of Litecoin, and where do I find these tokens at?
Yeah, good questions, actually. So we'll start with the last one first. Light is the first one deployed. And right now, the only place you could buy it is on Gate.io, a centralized exchange, which seems completely ass backwards, but it was because of the rogue marketplace Unilit that allowed for stale transfer inscriptions to be traded. They realized their mistake after they got a lot of people wrecked. They took a snapshot and then tried to basically create their own indexer to re-airdrop people from the transfer inscription. So right now, Light's actually been paused for trading pretty much. So it's pretty much just flat. But Anthony, who's the guy who forked OrdCore and has been kind of the lead maintainer, he just published a new indexer on Christmas. And he's been working with Gate.io to basically get it back up and running. So once that's done, from what I hear, it's supposed to be a few weeks. Then I believe Light will be listed on Chicken Market. It'll be listed on Ordinals.fun. It'll be listed on Gate, and you'll really start seeing a lot of this come in. And there's a lot of catch-up room that is going to be there, right? Light is 84 million instead of 21 million because that's actually the amount of Litecoin. But right now, I think it's sitting at like $1 million market cap, right? And it has Litecoin has a $5 billion market cap. Dogecoin has a $10 billion market cap, and Doji is sitting around a $50 million market cap, right? So if you just, put your fun speculation on, you could say there's probably going to be a lot of catch-up trades there at some point. And then what was the first question? Sorry.
What did Litecoin, the Light maps, the Litecoin maps? I don't know what they're called. What do they inscribe at?
Pretty much free, honestly. It's really cheap to inscribe on Litecoin. I would say probably pennies.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. If you go to ordinals.fun, that's and Chicken Market, I believe, has it too. You can go and inscribe. The downside on ordinals.fun is they're charging $1 service fee per inscription. So it's actually, if you just run, Ord Core, or if you just run a Litecoin node and then sync up to the Litecoin core, you could probably just go and inscribe the remaining 10,000 for pretty much free.
Oh, there's still some left.
That's what he said. If you go to the website ordinals.fun, this is the guy who built his own Litecoin marketplace. I've been talking with him. He said it took him 3 months to build this. He's claiming that there's about 10,000 left that still can be inscribed. I don't know for sure, but I was going to go and inscribe some through his platform, and then I saw it was like $1 per, and I was just like, this isn't worth it. Although probably creating generational wealth.
Famous
Is
last
there,
words, man.
is there an index for those, Jake?
I believe so. Yeah, go to so LightScribe is like the only API that I'm aware of for Litecoin ordinals. Again, right? This is the just lack of infrastructure. But just go ahead and talk with them. I always say go talk with Luke. Anything Litecoin ordinals, him and Anthony run Litecoin Labs, which is just basically the lead maintainers on it, and they know everything about the ecosystem. So yeah, just go ahead and reach out to them. And Eric, I do want to note as well, there was something for Monero ordinals in the very beginning. It was called Mordinals, I think. Adam, is that what it's called?
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah.
The joke was like, how do you know that they're even created? Right? How do they know they even exist?
Yes. That was the thing, and I'm like, I've been really thinking about it. Like, we put a shit coin on Monero, and we can just trade it, and no one knows who the fuck's trading it. There's no way to index it.
Doesn't even exist, bro. It's like that old meme with like you're in the you're laying on the couch, and Sigmund Freud asks you, are the NFTs in the room with you right now? That's everything. Yeah.
And I wanted to do it for Doge, and I'll put it out there because you can't. You'd have to change the whole Doge core. But I wanted to launch a dinero on Doge, but you can't. I tried. I looked very hard into it.
All right, someone go do it on Zcash. Let's get some ZK ordinals up, right? ZK20s.
Wait, how about XVG? Wasn't that Verge? That was the fork of Doge. When Wraith. What's up?
Yeah. What's up, Damien?
Hey, how you guys doing? I was just wondering, do you guys know if Word.io plans on adding other chains?
Leo, what do you think?
It's a good question. Like, I'm going to be honest, we're having trouble keeping up to date with Bitcoin. So, we are probably not going to be moving in the direction of just scaling with, a similar product and then adding a lot of UTXO-based chains. I will say I think that is a business model that marketplaces explorers are going to pursue very successfully and be more of this proof of work, UTXO, Web3 kind of product. We are more specifically focused on Bitcoin and even more specifically ordinals, so rare sats and inscriptions, just kind of focusing on a niche and trying to do that really well. There's absolutely a need for the product you're describing though.
When Dord.io. Right, Lord.io. I can see people building it. I love Lord.io. I've said that, Leo, since you launched it. It's one of the most important tools that exists on ordinals.
I mean, you definitely could imagine attributes on I don't know what are little pieces of Doge called Doge.
They're called sheaves, big bro.
There you go. Right, you can imagine all of these ideas on these other UTXO chains. There's no reason why there won't be.
They're not called sheaves.
Runes.
That's what Ape Sword called them, and it's a consensus, brother. But yeah, Leo.
The creator of Doge said they're called key inus, not sheaves.
They're actually called Satoshis if you want to be real specific about it. But Billy Marcus was in my GMs yesterday. Hold on, let me DM him.
He replied to your tweet and said they're called Kibus. They actually found.
He was referring to the tweet before him, my brother. But yeah, Leo, I'm really, I want to hear from Leo right now.
Leo, go ahead about the rare sats. That was an interesting take, actually.
No, I mean, it's not even that big brains of an idea. It's if you look at what people are interested on with ordinals, right? I think people are really interested in rare sats and runes, and those things don't seem to have made their way to these other chains yet. So to me, it's just super obvious kind of play is go do runes on these other chains. It's looking like it's going to shape up to be a pretty important protocol on Bitcoin. And usually if that happens, then it'll kind of make its way down to these other chains. And, I sort of think of these chains as more of like the L2 for Bitcoin or something like this, even though that's Ethereum. People are probably like, dude, what is this guy talking about? But to me, the narrative, like I think the narrative is fees go up on Bitcoin during this bull run. Fees go up a lot. And it's like, where does that energy move to of those people that are priced out? I don't necessarily think the energy, I don't think the actual L2s on Bitcoin are sophisticated enough and mature enough to handle that sort of energy. So I think logically it probably flows to these other UTXO proof of work chains that are like the scalable Bitcoin, even though they're not actually L2s. So I think that's the thesis, is like, when are we gonna enter a state where people are super pissed, just like they were on Ethereum in 2021, and like, what do I do? And then Tezos picked up a really solid kind of art scene during that. That's the kind of play here. Unfortunately, it's like when fees are low, it's why not do it on Bitcoin, right? Like, what's really the argument for not doing it on Bitcoin if fees are low, right? So yeah, I think it's all mostly a fee-based thing at the end of the day. And like, what's mega bullish for these other chains is if Bitcoin fees go through the roof.
Yep. That runes block, that halving block, we're going to see probably 1,000 sats per VVite or something. Maybe that's the tipping point. 8-bit, go ahead.
Yeah, brother, we actually started talking about it here on Doginals, and the community voted on Dunes. That's what we're going to call them. We're going to call runes Dunes on Dogecoin, bro. Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, and in terms of rare sats, I was talking with BitGod about rare sats on Doge. I know he was looking into it. Right. Then you start thinking like, what defines a rare sat or a rare Doge or rare sheep or whatever you call it. Is interesting to say the least, but it's something that hasn't been tapped in. Maybe just because it takes a lot more work, or because you have to work directly with the core team to implement that. It sounds like it. What's up, Swizz?
I was about to say, man, like, I don't see why people that know what they're doing on rare Satoshis just come over to Doge. Like, it's such a big opportunity. And if your goal is to make money, drop a collection, drop the first fucking collection. It's a rare sheets like collection, yo. I think that would be cool. And you could even do rare sheets like the guy bought like a Honda or sold his Doge for like a Honda. You can make those, do some shit like that, yo. That
is cool. A lot of blocks. It is a lot of sheebs or whatever you're calling it. That is a lot. There are a lot. But
yo, it's $1 billion idea. Whoever does it, $1 billion idea.
I would love some rare race car sats or rare race car sheebs from when Doge sponsored the NASCAR. That'd be a fun one. Damien, what's up?
I was just going to comment on the meta strategy I think going on here with, like, you notice how nobody pays any attention to Litecoin, right? And Litecoin is known for this, 100% uptime, the most transactions, so much volume. It's got Mimblewimble for some confidential transactions. It's got extension blocks for expand. It's ready to go, right? But nobody talks about it. Nobody builds for it. Nobody pays any attention
to shit. Exactly.
And watch when it pumps, how many people just take everything they have and just sort it right to Litecoin, and overnight the market is there.
It is funny. We were talking about this with Adam Krellenstein, who's the co-founder of Counterparty. He just came back, and I was like, I was really surprised no one forked Counterparty and put it on Litecoin and did Light Party. But I think now with their development of him getting back at the helm with one of the other co-founders and Joe Looney and JP Jansen as the four of them running Counterparty, I think once they put all these upgrades in, right, with PSBT support, which they claim that they're going to be doing, I think then you just see Counterparty forked onto Litecoin and they can just run it back. We could get some light Pepes on there.
Yeah. I did probably the first couple hundred on Litecoin myself, and it was like a span of 12 hours or something. Nobody was on there. Like, nobody paid any attention whatsoever. It was like I was just on a dance floor, break dancing, and the whole room is empty.
By yourself.
Yeah. For like, it was almost a day. I thought I was going crazy. I kept talking to my girl, and I'm like, are you sure this is reality? Like, what is going on here? for pennies.
For pennies, yeah. What's up, Swizz?
I will say, dude, how do you know Litecoin ordinals or whatever you call these shits? How do you know they're early? Because Litecoin Moonbirds are number one. These collections absolutely suck, dude. The art is shit on a lot of these. Can the devs do something?
Yeah, we've been yelling that for like the last year.
That's a great point, man. Yeah, the Moonbirds are number one. That's how you know it's a failed chain.
Well, actually, I think Tiny Pepe is going to be building one there, and they have a lot of big artists already submitting work. Coit's been talking about it. Coit said I influenced him into doing this on Litecoin, and it seems like it's happening.
That's exciting. Well, man, we've been going at this for 2.5 hours almost. So I think, Adam, and Chris, maybe we just need to do overall inscription markets every week. I think this is the third week we've done this now. Just a dedicated non-guest, just open format. I think we'll have to maybe make this a regular Tuesday show.
Lots to talk about. Yep.
Lots to talk about. And this has definitely been the winner. It's been over 100, 150 active listeners the last 3 times in a row. So, being led by Doge, I think, again, right, to recap it all, I think Doginals and ETHscriptions, in my opinion, are number 2 ecosystems fighting. And then right below that, you got stamps and maybe Solana inscriptions. It's exciting. Oh, and Atomicals. I put Atomicals right there as well in the number 3 slot. It's very, very exciting, man. You know, also to recap, for those that don't know, Adam, myself, and Chris, we work at Emblem Vault. We host the show Tuesday through Thursday. This Thursday, the first ever Emblem Town Hall. We have a lot to share. A lot. There is a lot going on. We have hopefully something to even share beforehand. Maybe tomorrow, hopefully. We'll be talking about on Thursday the wrap up of Emblem Legacy migration, Emblem Markets, Emblem.finance, a few redacted projects, what we're looking forward to in February, and bulk minting tools and all that fun stuff. It's really, really exciting. Tomorrow we will be hosting again, maybe an exciting launch. So stay at least. If not, we have to move out to Thursday. But make sure that you give Emblem Vault a follow. It's the #1 NFT cross-chain tool in the industry. We're having a lot of fun here, man. Doginals are mooning. Bitcoin ordinals are, again, the king. Hopefully Litecoin ordinals really figures their shit out. But also Stamps we didn't even get to cover Stamps today. Stamps has been also crushing it as well, and they're definitely leading. It's so funny. I put out a tweet on Saturday talking about Kevin and Stamp, and man, that community is hostile towards those two. About Kevin and Stamp. Although Kevin was the first one, Stamp is the leader, and there's definitely some tensions in there.
Yeah,
so
I saw some of the replies there. It's funny, man.
Dude, that post had like 200 replies. 200 replies. It's like, Jesus Christ, I didn't realize that was that intense over there. So Kevin or Stamp, whatever it is, dude. That's the provenance versus the community. We've had, right, me and Lee have had this debate for years, V1s versus V2s. That's kind of the similar situation over there. But without further ado, everybody, we'll be back here tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And until then, be safe, look into Doge, look into ordinals, and hopefully Quantum Cats can launch. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow.